Today we are talking about finance options available for tertiary students. Sihlala njalo sikhuluma ngokukhwela ko-fees, and today we decided ukuthi asiyekeleni ukukhala and bring solutions. I hope tertiary students will be tuning in to listen to this so that we know what options are there for us if we have challenges ukuthi sibhadale i-fees. I am joined by a student and someone from Educate. I'll allow them to introduce themselves. Sibe bazi before we delve into our conversation today. Lalela, if you want to take part in this conversation, don't forget to send your WhatsApp message to 077-446-0100. I am your host, Obegezela Mgoni, and you are listening to The Girls Table. May you introduce yourselves, ladies.
Salibonani balaleli, mina ibizo lami nguNongcebo Hazel Gumbo, niphuma eZimbabwe Open University.
Good evening, Blawayo Omuhle. I am Providence Nkala, ngivela Educate.
Thank you so much, Balaleli. Like I said, we have two other young people, Providence Ovela Educate. I don't even know what that means. And then Silo Hazel from Zimbabwe Open University. Ukuluma Educate, and I want to understand from Hazel or a student, do you know anything about e-educate? I take it ngama loans, but uzasichazela Providence. Let's hear from you. Do you know anything about e-educate?
Well, to be honest, I think I just know a little bit. From what I heard, it's ama loans where you guys, someone approaches you guys, and then liyahamba liyobhadala the fees, and then they pay back. I think that's the rough idea that I have. It's sort of like singathi maybe usubhadala bona sebekubhadalele wona nguwe sebekwenzela ke i-plan, i-payment plan yokuthi you are now paying back imali zangikhona.
I'm seeing Providence is laughing. I don't know whether uchayiganga kumbuseduzane, but ukremile. Because we have a poster, it's possible. She's so educated, decided, let me go and Google this. Providence, tell us about e-educate. Make someone out there who's never heard this word or lazi kuphela nxa sikhuluma nge-education. Usitshele ukuthi what is educate about? How does it work?
Okay, thank you, Bege. So Educate is a education access and people improvement company. We specialize in making people's lives better. That's just what we wake up and do. So our primary goal really is to enrich lives, and by empowering young people through quality education and also helping people make better decisions about their life. And we do this through a few avenues, one of them being payment plans for students in selected schools and universities. And another way that we do this is through financial literacy programs for corporates. And we also have a financial literacy podcast called the Now Educated Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube as Now Educated or on Anchor FM, which is powered by Spotify. Indeed. So we work with over 60 partners, and this is from preschools, primary schools, high schools, and companies that we work with. And we've sort of increased our reach, and this has brought about complementary services from particularly working with universities. We've sort of come up with complementary services like application assistance for admission and also facilitation of medical aid, particularly for students starting in South Africa. I'd say that's Educate in a nutshell. A very small one.
But we didn't know about this, guys.
No.
Do you have something to say, Hazel?
I'm saying it's a whole package, like they're doing everything. You know, what they're saying, even land bazali sell land corporate system and teach about finance. Then also really we have back to the kids. You know?
Yeah, and the idea really is to make an impact from the preschooler to their parent who's sitting in a boardroom somewhere. So we try to make sure that we touch every point of that value chain, from school kids, preschoolers, right up to the corporate sitting out in their offices.
I was arguing with someone when we were recording a talk show about if fees being pegged in US dollars while our parents are being paid in RTGS. Watibege, you need to plan. That's where financial literacy comes in. Because the money that I'm getting, salary doesn't even cover my basic needs. Like I said, we are talking about financial options for tertiary students. If you want to be part of the show or you have something that you want to say, please send your message via Skyz Metro FM WhatsApp number 07 yo guys amathi nanka 0774460100. Be part of this conversation ngoba umntanakho laye uzaludinga usizo oluvela e-educate bathe financial literacy la ngapha ama loans. Asifundeni guys, asithatheni break siye nathamanzi. Talking to Providence, trying to find out how far they have gone in terms of reaching out to tertiary students. But they are getting there. But we've heard about the educate. I'd want to find out from you, Hazel Uguti, what financial options that you know of for abantwana tertiary students njengami ngiyabasithi maybe fees sokunzima ukuthi ngibhadale i-US dollar imali azivumi yiwapho waziyo, be it internally or externally. When I say internally ngithi eZimbabwe Open University, what options are there ukuthi bathi suyehlulekile ngo-part 4, this is how you can maybe work for us, this is what you can do to raise imali yakho ye fees, because you are running away from having people dropping out of school. Esego part 4 too, guys. It's really difficult. Hazel, over to you.
All right, thank you, Bege. Well, starting from internally Zimbabwe Open University, there is a fund program that's happening in the SRC. The SRC has funds fees for our students, but obviously limited because the funds come from our SRC fees. And usually, like ngabe selector, kujaluk selector, normally first semester there, but you proof and stuff you are disadvantaged. And then I know of someone who recently got a scholarship through Iambukai Trust. They are said to empower the girl child. Well, maybe we'll have a tricky for some, boy child, but yeah, they do help girl child. They'll pay for your fees. They'll offer you a laptop or a device, phone, because you need to be researching on the go as well. Learn. I also know which there is a scholarship from Delta, Zimra Trust Fund, learn. Yeah.
It turns out they might not know about the educate, but I'm happy you are the first person that I've talked to about the issue of fees. Who knows? Who institution yabo bayenza. Nabanye amazosithi mina I don't even know. Yebo thini. Sicela ukuthi ngabe siyafundiswa ku orientation nganhleka mina ngithi. Nganhleka mina ngithi I didn't even go kulokhuzeni ku-orientation because most people are saying we don't know about these financial options, especially internal. And it's sad, ukuthi you have a tertiary institution elabantwana abafundayo abangakwazi ukuthi nxa life isinchayile, what can I do? So I'm happy we have abantu abafana labo Hazel abazaziyo mana bale information about these things. Maybe we might use you one day la ukuthi tell other people about these things. I hope as students that we go out and find out about these financial options akhona, instead of us saying, you know what, gulo blessa elingangisave. My focus today is on you, Providence, because we've had so many conversations about fees hikes, but this is the first time we're talking about options that are available. So I'd want to understand ukuthi isebenza kanjani i-educate. I know you guys said alikafiki kulokhu zeni kuma tertiary institutions, but I'd want to understand ukuthi isebenza kanjani ama-loans enu, and what are the repayment options in case njoba linganisele sithi selizafika kuma universities vele sihlale sililindile.
All right. Thank you, Bege. So, first of all, in terms of reach, a lot of our universities are actually predominantly in South Africa. We do have one in Switzerland, Namibia, but in Zimbabwe, we only have NAST and College of Creative Arts. And we're still making strides towards getting everyone on board, but there's been some challenges in that. But I'll just get into how the repayments work. So at Educate, we believe in simplifying things, simplifying life, Take it back to the basics. Number one, we all know we breathe oxygen. That's just basic, right? And we all know that rent is due how many times a year? 12, right? So we all know rent needs to be paid 12 times a year. School fees needs to be paid 3 times a year. If it's college, university tuition is due twice a year. So we work based on the assumption that that's basic knowledge. Everybody knows that. And we're all sort of making plans towards that. Those 12 monthly rent payments, those 3 school payments, and that tuition. So how our plans work is because we believe and know that that tuition is due, you are making plans, but for some reason you're unable to come right. So how it works is we need an upfront deposit, a partial payment up front, and then what we do is we spread over the balance over 4 to 5 months if it's for the semester, and if you'd like a plan for the academic year, we still need that upfront deposit, and then we spread the balance over 10 months to cover you for the year. So that's how basically it works. We try to keep it simple, keep it basic.
But I'm happy I'm not a student. So I'm happy I'm a student out there are listening. Like I said, if you want to be part of this conversation with an Eskolo who's struggling to pay their fees, the educators here, the information that we need, dial 0774460100 ucho lawe umbono wakho ngendaba ye-educate lokhu idonsa inyawo ukuthi ifike kuma-tertiary institutions. It's a struggle kakhulu. Please.
We're making strides. We're on our way.
Yeah. We're really waiting for you. So singa apply kanjani for so what are the options that are available kuma payment in terms of paying back?
Okay, so I think in terms of financial aid options, it's like you say, there's bursaries, scholarships, but we don't really facilitate that. And the challenge with those right off the bat is, like you said, there's one that focuses on girl empowerment. They're already very, very limiting in nature. And the other option in terms of financial aid is actually student loans or payment plans, which are accessible to everybody. And that's what we try to provide. That's the solution we try to provide as Educate.
You are listening to the Girls Table radio show where we talk about issues that affect tertiary students. And then namhlanje, like I said, we are talking about finance options available for tertiary institutions. And I am with Hazel Ovela at Zimbabwe Open University and uProvidence Ovela Educate. Sifuna ukuzama ukuzwisisa ukuthi in case i-RTGS liyalo ukuthi ngibhadale fees, what other options are there really ukuthi ngingazitholi drop out of school? And if you want to be part of the show, tumela your WhatsApp message via Skyz Metro WhatsApp number 0774460100. Asihambe siena tamanzi balaleli. Skyz Metro FM and you're listening to the Girls Table. Lapho sikhuluma khona about finance options for tertiary students. Hazel seems to have a question for Providence. Hazel, let's hear what question you have for Providence. Besides, you are the tertiary student. So khuluma la simuzwa ukuthi what question do you have for her?
Oh, yes, I'm so interested in finding out ukuthi, like, what happens if I fail to pay back the loan. Or stuff like that.
Okay, so I think that's a very interesting question. Thank you for that. Let me break it down this way. So Educate is a for-profit company, so it has to make sense in the sense that we try to create products that are affordable for people. And we try to make sure that if we're recommending a university, for instance, if a student comes through for application assistance and we're recommending a university, we want to know what their budget is so that we're not recommending, a BHMS in Switzerland that's about $30,000 and you cannot afford that. If your budget is 500, we try to make sure that in that whole process, we find something that suits you and your budget. So I think that sort of opens another conversation, because what we do is we try to take it from the very start. We've realized a lot of the times it's not everyone who needs to go to university. First of all, let's start there. It's not everybody who needs to be in university.
Yes.
I'll explain it this way. There are students who, you get a student coming and saying, I've got a place at UCT, I'm doing biochemistry, and you're asking them, so are you excited about that? And they're like, no, it was my third option, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. So you find a lot of students find themselves in situations whereby they're going to college simply because somebody said go to college, or their friends are going to college, and they end up getting into debt and financing a degree that they don't even want, and it's something that they're not passionate about. So it goes back to you as a person. So as Educate, we're trying to provide solutions to all those little problems that sort of come up along the way. And one of the things that we do is we provide personality tests to help students understand themselves in the first place, to say, who are you really? And after that, we do career guidance, which helps them figure out, okay, so I'm Providence and I'm this kind of a person. Say my personality is an innovator. Then we look and say, okay, so what careers suit a person who has got an innovator personality, you understand? And then we see what careers work from them. From there, we then figure out, okay, she can be, an accountant, an entrepreneur. Then we look and say, okay, these are the list of universities we can assist you for. Which ones can you afford from those? And then we then go on and assist you with application, admission, and then the payment plan. So the payment plan is at the very end of the list, but we try to make sure that from the very onset, we're getting it right, getting into the right career. But yeah, that's just about it.
I'm hurt. I'm really hurt because mina ngapho ngungena nje kwathiwa hambe university andisiyenzile form 6.
Yeah.
What if uthola ukuthi kube ngangikwazi nge-educate kuba
and that's the narrative we're trying to break. That's the cycle we're trying to break through, that to make sure that people are getting into the right careers for the right reasons, because we want to avoid a situation whereby Hazel takes up a payment plan, goes through 4 years of university for a degree that you will not use at the end of the day.
But ngiyali blame her for not going out there for abantu abafana lathi to know about you guys, because I'm not sure if I did the right thing ukuthi ngastart the right career. Imagine kube ngabuya for a personal test engcenye khathesi umuntu kube wastarta ukuba i-engineer, ngiyathanda ngani yangena phansi komgwaqo ngiphume, you know what I'm saying? But I'm learning, and it seems like you guys are doing a lot. You are doing a lot. I just thought it's the loans kuphela, but career guidance ukungitshela ukuthi no beke this is not right for you. I think you are doing a lot.
Thank you.
But phumani phela silibone bakithi.
We will definitely get ourselves out there more. We're really trying to help people a lot, and our goal, actually, we were discussing it earlier on in the office earlier this week, that we'd like to reach 1 million Zimbabweans before 2030. I know you guys have your Vision 2030. We've got our own little Vision 2030, and we'd like to reach 1 million Zimbabweans in some way or the other through one of our programs, be it a loan, a personality test, application assistance, before 2030.
I hope this is not the last time I'm talking to you. Let's hear what Uhazel wants to say before we end the show. Be it something that you learned, or you want to encourage someone to get in touch with Educate ukuthi guys ungaphonga uvuka kusasa ngoba sokuthiwe hambe starta kumbe our parents want us to be doctors, so uthola ukuthi abanye bethu sapho ngokuhamba sayenza ukuba ngo-doctor because umama wazi ukuthi vele udoctor mntanami ngingagula, you know, ngingagula ichukela lami mntanami sengicovered. Let's hear what Hazel wants to say, your last words to your tertiary colleagues.
Well, I think first of all, siyabonga ukuthi